Hello everyone. So I'm back with another video. I wanted to come in and just do a quick recap on raw vegan and my 90-day journey. I've been raw vegan for about 90 days now. And so I wanted to just come in and share my thoughts and just some reflection on the journey so far. And I do have notes, so if I'm looking down at my notes. So let's get started. So real quick, what is raw vegan? Raw vegan is somebody who only eats fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and they do not cook them over a certain temperature, which is believed to be 115. Some people say 118. So you can have warm foods, but it's not cooked at your 350 or, normal cooking temperatures. So why did I go raw vegan? I decided to go raw vegan because I did the juicing journey, which I do have videos on my YouTube about my whole journey with juicing. And so I was doing the juicing journey. I juiced for 60 days, no solid foods, just juice. And I lost 30 pounds. And so after I lost the weight, I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to go back to my old ways or old habits or even pick some of the old ways, because at first I thought I would just do maybe pescatarian, but I didn't want to do that. So I decided to do raw vegan because I wanted to continue to maintain my progress with the weight loss and also continue to be healthy and not go back to old habits after I had gotten it out of my system from the juicing. So that is why I decided to go raw vegan. How did I prepare for being a raw vegan? As I was nearing the end of my juicing journey, I started buying things that I knew would be shelf stable. So I bought flax seeds and chia seeds and all the different nuts and seeds that I could just store away, and even dates and tahini. So that is how I prepared to go raw vegan. And then when I was breaking a fast, I went and got my food for the week. I was still juicing at the time. I was transitioning back into solid food. So I was still juicing and just eating a meal or two a day. So let's talk about some of the pros of being raw vegan that I found for myself. So one of the things that I found, the weight loss is effortless. So I stopped my juicing journey back in September and I was around 182. Today I am around 172. So I've lost 10 pounds from just the food. I have not worked out. I haven't gone back to juicing. I haven't done anything but just eat raw vegan food. I don't have any pain in my body. I never really had a lot of pain, but when I first started my juicing journey, I had a hairline fracture in my foot. And about 2 weeks into the journey, I went for my final follow-up to see if the fracture had healed, and it did heal. And I told my doctor at the time, I'm like, hey, my foot still hurts even though it's healed. She's like, yeah, you may have just some pain in your foot for the next few weeks. It could be long term. It really just depends. And so I have not had any pain in my foot when I was going through the juicing journey and now being raw vegan. So that is a definite pro for me, just not having any pain in my body. Another thing I like is trying new foods and recipes. There are a lot of things that you can make raw vegan to substitute for your normal food. So pasta, you can use the zucchini or cucumber noodles or kelp noodles, and the sauces, you could do Alfredo, you could do spaghetti sauce, you could do pesto, tacos. You could do a number of things on this, and it's I don't miss the old food because I'm substituting it with the new raw vegan version of it. And so to piggyback off of that, the cravings. I don't have cravings for bad food anymore. I don't crave McDonald's. I don't crave Five Guys. I don't crave anything that I used to eat before going vegan because I'm so far away from that. I started my juicing journey back in July, and now that it's December, it's just so far away that I don't crave it. Does it still smell good if I smell it? Yes, it does still smell good, but I don't actually want it. And I think for me, is I don't want to mess up my system. Like, I don't want to eat something bad and like I'm in pain, my stomach hurts, I'm not moving my bowels the way I should. So I would say that is also a pro for me, is just not having those cravings anymore. I don't really crave anything. Like, I don't crave grapes. I like grapes. I eat them daily, but I don't actually crave them. It's just like, okay, grapes. I want grapes, but I'm not craving it like, oh, I gotta have it the way I would like back in the day. If I had a craving, I would immediately like make sure I could try to get that as soon as possible. And that's not the case for this lifestyle. So those are just some of the pros that I've seen for myself. Let's talk about some of the cons. I would say food instability is a con. So when I started this journey back on around September 23rd, Atlanta was facing a hurricane. Thankfully, it did not hit the metro Atlanta area, or specifically where I'm at. But I had to make sure I was prepared, and I was able to order DoorDash to get some of the food that I needed. Food instability is a con because you may have food in the refrigerator or on your counter, but it may go bad, or it could go bad depending on how long the situation is, if you're in like a natural disaster type of situation. So I think that's where you would want to make sure you have like those nuts and seeds on hand that you have in your pantry in case you don't have like fresh produce. Or even frozen items. But if you're in a natural disaster situation, if you're without power 4 days on end, that could pose an issue, especially if you're not able to get ice or things like that to keep those things frozen. Another con is planning ahead. So if you're not somebody who's used to planning, this lifestyle could be hard because you do have to somewhat plan ahead, especially because if you're doing like nuts and seeds, you have to sometimes soak those things in order to digest them well. And if you don't think about it or plan your meal ahead of time, at least in your mind, you may not have it like written down or something anywhere. But if you don't know what you're eating like the next day and plan for that, you may not be able to, or you could, but you may have some like digestive issues. So planning ahead is a thing that could be a con because you want to make sure that you're able to eat when you need to eat. You don't want to get too hungry if you haven't planned ahead, because that could cause you to eat bad things that you don't want to eat and could cause regret, after you eat it. The other con I would say is the cost. I'm going to be honest, my grocery bill, I feel like it hasn't really changed. It's just switched. So before, I would be spending money on groceries that I probably wouldn't cook or probably wouldn't make. And then I would be spending money on fast food. And so that added up to maybe like $1,000 a month between me and my son. Now, I'm still spending about $1,000 a month on groceries, but it's just groceries. I may eat like to Silly's. I'll go down there, a couple times a month, but I'm not eating out, so I'm eating at home. And so all my food cost is the cost of just groceries at home. So it does feel like it's a lot of money, but it's just kind of moved into a different area. Instead of eating, out 2-3 times a day, I'm eating at home, but I'm having to go to the store more often. Like this week I went to the grocery store probably 3 times. I just didn't have enough food, and I kept noticing that, so I had to keep going to the store. So I would say the cost and just the time of being in the grocery store, it has increased. I do love Instacart, but I don't do it as much as I used to because now I want to be able to pick out my produce, pick out, my fruit, make sure it's ripe. I don't want somebody who may not be a good shopper, unfortunately. They pick out, something that's not ripe. And so I've wasted my money, and I can't eat, this fruit. So I am spending more time in the grocery store. which is the kind for me because I used to hate grocery shopping. The other kind I would say is the social aspect. For me, it's not been a huge thing. I have noticed that people don't care what you eat. They don't care what's on your plate. You can tell them and they're going about their business. Like, I went to a formal gala and it was a sit down dinner a couple weeks ago, and you know, I ate before I went there, so I wasn't hungry. And they had a salad on the table, and some people I was sitting next to were like, "You not eating?" I'm like, "No, I'm not eating. You know, I'm not really hungry." I don't really go into the fact that I'm raw vegan unless they kind of keep pressing the issue. I don't really just lead with that because then that's going to come with a lot more questions. But they don't care. Like, you tell them you're not hungry, you're not eating, or you don't want to eat, then they just kind of let it go. So, you know, that aspect, like especially with people you don't know, has been, you know, fine for me. I haven't dealt with this, but I know that this can be an issue for some people. It's like your friends and your family. My family doesn't live where I live, so they haven't been a factor in this whole journey because they're not here. So I haven't seen them since the juicing or the raw vegan. But I know that could be a factor. I would just say, just let them know that you're on a new path. Maybe let them try some recipes that you've been making. But that could be a con, and I could definitely see how that is. And I'm interested to see how it goes once I do go visit my family. You know, if they will have anything to say about my new lifestyle. But hopefully they don't, because since they haven't seen me, they haven't seen my weight loss. And so hopefully when they see me, they see my weight loss, they see how healthy I am, how energetic I am, then they won't have anything to say. But we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated on that. I think that's pretty much all for the cons. Overall, I really do enjoy this lifestyle. I see myself doing it long term. I really enjoy it. I like that overall it's the healthy choice. I feel good about the choices that I make. And I didn't go vegan for the animals, but I like that I'm not adding to animals being killed for no reason. I like that I'm not adding to the pollution in the world by doing this lifestyle. Some things that helped me kind of prepare too was just watching some documentaries like Food Inc. and What the Health. And then if you're wanting to see like the aspect of how animals are killed, watch Dominion and Earthlings. Those are two good ones. I couldn't even get through, I think, Dominion. I watched Earthlings the whole way through, but Dominion, I don't know, I had to turn it off. Kind of opened my eyes to the whole animal slaughter process and just what we're taking into our bodies. So I would say definitely check those out. I will go ahead and end it here. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know. Put them in the comments below and I will be sure to respond. And I will talk to y'all later.